Have you ever felt like you're capable of so much more, yet something is holding you back from achieving your goals? What if I told you that the only thing standing between you and your dreams is the way you think about yourself? We all have dreams, but sometimes it feels like there's an invisible barrier stopping us from reaching them. What if that barrier is just in your mind? How many times have you told yourself that you can't do something, even though deep down you know you're capable? The truth is, the only real limitation you face is the one you create in your own mind. So, why do we keep limiting ourselves? We often feel trapped by circumstances, but what if the only true limitation is how we choose to perceive ourselves and our potential? Every great achievement begins with a belief. But what happens when that belief is filled with limitations we place on ourselves? How often have you felt like you could accomplish more, only to be held back by thoughts of, I can't, or I'm not good enough? What if the key to unlocking your full potential lies in the simple realization that the only thing holding you back is your mindset? Our minds are powerful, but they can also be the biggest obstacle. What if the only thing limiting you is the way you view your own abilities? Have you ever wondered why some people achieve their wildest dreams while others, despite having the same opportunities, remain stuck in a cycle of regret and unfulfilled potential? What if the real barrier isn't the world around us, but the invisible walls we've built in our own minds? Today, let's explore Napoleon Hill's profound words. The only limitation is that which one sets up in one's own mind, a truth drawn from his timeless philosophy in Think and Grow Rich. This idea challenges us to look inward, to question how our internal beliefs shape our reality far more than any external circumstance ever could. Think about it. How many times have you known exactly what you wanted, like starting that business or pursuing a passion, but felt paralyzed by thoughts like, I'm not ready, or what if I fail? These mental barriers manifest as procrastination, hesitation, and a lack of drive, turning even simple tasks into mountains we dare not climb. It's a cycle that feeds on itself, where self-doubt whispers excuses, and before we know it, days turn into years of inaction. But here's the empowering truth. These limitations are not etched in stone. They're self-imposed constructs we can dismantle. True success begins with reframing our mindset, shifting from scarcity and fear to abundance and possibility. We don't need perfect conditions to start. We need only the courage to act, breaking the chains that hold us back. So, why aren't you taking action right now? Often, it's because we're waiting for that elusive spark of motivation, believing it must strike before we move forward. This is a classic self-imposed limitation, where the mind tricks us into thinking, I'll start when I feel inspired, leading to endless delays and missed opportunities. Napoleon Hill taught that successful people, like great inventors and entrepreneurs, don't wait for motivation. They create it through action. For instance, imagine someone with a brilliant idea for a new venture, but they keep postponing it, hoping for the perfect moment that never arrives. That hesitation stems from the mind's tendency to fabricate excuses, turning potential into paralysis. Another culprit is our failure to decide, a mental barrier where overthinking options leaves us frozen in place. You might have clear ideas, yet the mind floods you with doubts, making every choice feel overwhelming and risky. Hill emphasized the power of definite decisions, showing how committing quickly can shatter this limitation and propel us forward. Picture this. You're at a crossroads, knowing what you need to do, but indecision creeps in, whispering, what if I choose wrong? This fear of making a mistake is entirely mind created, reinforcing a cycle of avoidance that guarantees defeat. Then there's the weight of uncertainty and fear, emotions we build up in our minds until they seem insurmountable. Thoughts like, what if I embarrass myself? Or, what if it all falls apart? become self-fulfilling prophecies, holding us back from even trying. Yet, as Hill reminds us, these fears are not external forces, they're illusions we can confront and dissolve. The solution lies in immediate action, the one thing that can override these mental limitations and spark real change. When you take that first step, no matter how small, you begin to rewrite your story, turning abstract fears into tangible progress. Action has a magical way of rewiring the mind, generating energy and momentum that self-doubt can't withstand. For example, think of someone who dreams of writing a book but starts with just one paragraph. Suddenly, the barrier crumbles and ideas flow freely. Building decisiveness is key. It means making firm choices without delay, countering the habit of endless hesitation. Try setting time-bound deadlines for yourself, like deciding today to tackle that project you've been avoiding. This shift aligns with Hill's belief that decisive thinking breaks the mental chains, fostering a resolve that drives success. Practicing the first step is where it all begins. Start with something simple, like making a phone call or jotting down notes. Each small action weakens the hold of your limitations, creating a habit of forward movement rather than waiting for the stars to align. Now, let's talk about overcoming that deep-seated hesitation and fear that so often derails us. The truth is, action itself erodes these barriers. When you face your fears head-on, you realize they're not as solid as they seem. Hill's principles, like visualization, encourage you to imagine success despite anxiety, such as practicing public speaking even when it terrifies you. Through repeated exposure, these mental limitations fade, proving that fear is just a temporary illusion. And what about failure? We often view it as a permanent setback, but that's another self-imposed limitation we must challenge. Learning through failure is essential. It's not the end, but a stepping stone to growth, as Hill illustrated with figures like Thomas Edison, who failed thousands of times before succeeding. By reframing mistakes in our minds, we build resilience and mastery, turning what was once a barrier into a pathway to achievement. Cultivating self-discipline is the true key to overcoming these mental blocks and sustaining long-term success. Unlike fleeting emotions, discipline is a self-created tool that challenges the mind's excuses and fosters empowerment. Hill taught that consistent discipline rewires the brain, transforming hesitation into productive routines. Start by building positive habits, like waking up early each day or completing small tasks without delay. Techniques like habit stacking, linking a new habit to an existing one, can help replace limitations with momentum. Once you commit to this, you'll find that self-discipline becomes your greatest ally, propelling you past mental barriers. Next, developing a clear vision and specific goals is crucial for dissolving self-imposed limitations and directing your actions. Goals act as a mental anchor, counteracting vague thinking and fueling a cycle of achievement rather than excuses. As Hill advised, crystal clear goals motivate you to keep going, turning possibilities into realities. To make this practical, define your goals using the SMART method: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Break them into actionable steps, like outlining your plan for the week, so that progress feels attainable and exciting. This process trains your mind to focus on opportunities, not obstacles, leading to breakthroughs you once thought impossible. As we wrap this up, remember that motivation and success don't precede action, they follow it, just as Napoleon Hill promised. The only limitation is that which one sets up in one's own mind. So by challenging and changing those mental constructs, you unlock unlimited potential. Don't wait for tomorrow. Start today by identifying one mental barrier and taking immediate action against it. Perhaps it's as simple as writing down your goal or making that first phone call. Do it now, and feel the shift. You've got the power to rewrite your narrative, turning self-doubt into self-assurance and hesitation into habit. Imagine the freedom of living without those invisible chains, where every step forward builds a life of purpose and fulfillment. So, what's your first step going to be? Reflect on it, commit to it, and watch as your world transforms. Remember, the only real limitation is the one you choose to believe in, break free, and thrive. Napoleon Hill's profound words remind us that the barriers we face are often not from the world around us, but from within. In his timeless book Think and Grow Rich, Hill emphasizes how our internal beliefs shape our reality, turning potential into achievement. Picture this. You're standing at the edge of a dream, knowing exactly what you want, yet something holds you back. That something is self-doubt, a mental wall you've built yourself. It's the voice whispering, "You're not ready," or "What if you fail?" These thoughts create a cycle of hesitation, where even the smallest steps feel like climbing a mountain. But here's the truth. External circumstances rarely limit us as much as our own minds do. Success begins when we reframe our thinking, shifting from fear to empowerment. Remember, action is the key to breaking free from this mental prison. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Create it by moving forward now. Many people fall into the trap of waiting for motivation to strike, thinking it must come before they act. This is a classic self-imposed limitation, as Hill would say, where the mind invents excuses to stay comfortable. For instance, an aspiring entrepreneur might delay launching their business, hoping for a surge of inspiration. But successful innovators like Thomas Edison didn't wait. They acted through the drudgery. By doing so, they turned vague ideas into groundbreaking realities. Indecision is another mental barrier we set up, paralyzing us even when our goals are clear. Overthinking every option leads to a fog of doubt, where the mind spins in circles. Hill teaches that definite decisions are the antidote, cutting through the noise of uncertainty. Imagine having a brilliant idea for a project, but spending days weighing pros and cons until it's too late. That hesitation stems from a mind afraid of commitment, but committing quickly builds momentum. Fear and uncertainty are entirely products of our own thoughts, as Hill points out. Thoughts like, "What if I embarrass myself?" create a shield that blocks progress. This cycle of avoidance ensures defeat before you even try. Yet, by recognizing fear as a mental construct, you can dismantle it. The solution lies in immediate action, which Hill champions as the ultimate mind shifter. Taking that first step, no matter how small, overrides the limitations you've imposed. For example, if you're hesitant to start a fitness routine, just put on your shoes and walk for 5 minutes. Suddenly, the mental barrier crumbles, replaced by a rush of energy. Action rewires your brain, turning fear into fuel for growth. Building decisiveness means making firm choices without delay, directly countering mental hesitation. Set time-bound deadlines for yourself, like deciding today on your next career move. This practice aligns with Hill's philosophy, training your mind to act with resolve. Practicing the first step is about starting simple, such as jotting down one idea for your goal. Each small action weakens the hold of self-imposed limits, creating a habit of progress. Overcoming hesitation and fear requires facing them head-on, as action exposes their illusion. Hill suggests techniques like visualization, where you picture success despite your anxieties. For instance, if public speaking terrifies you, start by speaking to a mirror, then a friend. With each exposure, the mental barrier fades, proving it's not as insurmountable as it seemed. Learning through failure is essential, as it reframes mistakes from setbacks to stepping stones. Hill shares stories of figures like Edison, who viewed each failure as progress toward invention. When you fail, remember it's not a dead end, but a lesson that strengthens your resolve. Cultivating self-discipline is the true key to dismantling mental limitations, as Hill asserts. It's not about fleeting motivation. It's about consistent habits that override excuses. Discipline rewires your brain, turning "I can't" into "I will." Start by committing to daily routines, like waking up early to work on your goals. Building positive habits counters mental barriers, such as procrastination, by creating structure. Try habit stacking. Link a new habit to an existing one, like reviewing your goals right after breakfast. Over time, these routines build a mental environment where limitations dissolve. Developing a clear vision and goals is crucial, as it directs your actions and dissolves vague doubts. Hill believed that specific goals act as a mental anchor, preventing the mind from wandering into excuses. Without clear objectives, it's easy to feel lost, but with them, every step feels purposeful. For example, instead of saying, "I want to be successful," define it as, "I will launch my business in 6 months." Break these goals into actionable steps, like researching markets this week. This process trains your mind to focus on possibilities, not limitations. As you achieve small milestones, your confidence grows, fueling further progress. Goals as motivation keep you moving, even when self-doubt creeps in. They create a cycle of achievement where each success reinforces your mental strength. Use tools like SMART goals to make them measurable and attainable. For instance, set a goal to read one chapter of Think and Grow Rich daily, building knowledge and resolve. In conclusion, remember Hill's wisdom. The only limitations are those we create in our minds. By taking action today, you shatter these barriers and unlock your true potential. Don't let fear or indecision hold you back any longer. Start with one small step, like identifying a mental block and challenging it right now. Each decision you make moves you closer to success. Embrace the power of your mind to transform obstacles into opportunities. As Hill would encourage, rewrite your mental narrative from limitation to liberation. Imagine the freedom of living without self-imposed chains. Your dreams are within reach. It's just a matter of acting on them. Reflect on this. What one action can you take immediately to break free? Share your first step with someone, turning intention into reality. Remember, success follows action, not the other way around. You've got the tools within you. Now, use them. Let Hill's words guide you. Overcome your mind's limitations and soar. Today is the day to begin your journey to unlimited potential. Napoleon Hill's profound words remind us that the barriers we face are often of our own creation.